I'll probably do an intro so that I don't have to film a separate one later. My name is Anna Northcutt, and I'm here today with, do you say your name Janese?
Yes, Janese.
Okay, I just don't want to everyone to be watching and why is she flinching every time Anna says her name? I pronounce it wrong for the entire interview. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I competed from 2017 through 2020 when I aged out, and I really wish, honestly, that I had started competing sooner because I heard about Bible Bee a couple of years before then, and I just thought, oh, that's for really smart people who are really good at memorizing. I could never do that. And so for a couple of years, I knew about Bible Bee, but I just didn't even try to get involved because I didn't think I would be able to do it. And then I had friends who did it in 2016, and so they told me a little bit more about the inside look at how the studying process goes for them, and they really encouraged me to try it. And after that, I was like, you know what, maybe I can try it. At least the summer study. I can do the summer study probably. And then I did the summer study, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I just wanted to keep doing it every year after that.
That's wonderful. We're talking about the Alumni Service Team, and obviously you have to be an alumni to get on it, but are there other requirements?
I believe that the official requirement is that you have either qualified once or participated in the summer study twice.
I used to think it was just you had to qualify. I'm glad that it's open to more people. Can you describe what does the process of applying look like from the moment you get the email saying, fill out this form if you want to try out, to being accepted?
Yeah, so staff sends out an email with an application form. It's just a Google form that has 3 pages of questions, I think. The first page is just introduction, so there aren't even any questions. And so you just provide your name and information about how long you've competed. Last year, there were questions about your testimony and just what your goals are if you are accepted. I talked to different people. Some of them gave short answers. Some of them gave very long, wordy answers. I was a little bit more on the wordy side myself. There were people accepted in the past who've given short answers and people who've given longer answers, so I don't think the word count of your answers is a big deal.
What happens after that, after you fill out the form?
Then you wait, and that's the worst part. After the end of the application window, there's an interview, and so it'll be a group interview, and staff will have a couple of questions that they'll ask everybody, so everybody gets a chance to answer. And some of them are more thought-provoking questions. They do change from year to year, so I can't say what they'll be this year. But last year, one of the questions was, if you were writing an autobiography of your life, what would the title be? So it was a little bit more of a thought-provoking question. And then they also do some very random, just for fun kind of questions. And so in one of the previous years, that question was, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? So, something very lighthearted just to kind of get everybody talking. They'll ask a mix of those questions. Everybody will have a chance to answer them. And then staff will, usually there's about a week in between the interview and the announcements of the team. And in between then, staff will make their decisions. And then on the day when the results are announced, they're going to send emails to everybody who applied, is what they've done in the past. And so if you're accepted, you'll get the acceptance email. But if they end up not accepting you, and then you'll get an email just saying thank you for applying.
The rejection email.
Yes, the rejection email. I was trying to say it nicely, not say that word, but yes, it is the rejection email. But they're very gracious about it. If someone's applied once and been rejected, it doesn't mean that you don't have a chance for the future, because there were people on the team this year who had applied previously. Some had even applied more than once and hadn't been accepted, and then they were accepted for the 2023 team. And so don't take one rejection as an absolute final thing if you feel like it's something that the Lord might be calling you to.
That's really encouraging. When I was reading through the doc explaining what the AST was about, something that really stood out to me was the focus groups, which I think there were 3 of them: social, community, writing and blog, and then contest. So are those titles pretty much self-explanatory as far as what goes on? And then also, do you get to pick which group you're on?
The titles are fairly self-explanatory, yes. So the contest team works with contest materials. The social community team is obviously more directly involved with the social community. and the writing team writes for the blog. And I've been on the writing team, so I have more experience with that. As far as whether or not you get to pick, on the application form, there will be a spot for you to rank which focus group you would prefer to be in, like in order of preference, 1, 2, 3. They do seem to usually really try and honor people's first preference. I actually do not know of anybody who has not gotten their first choice. But it might be possible if, everyone says they want to be on, say, the contest team. Obviously, someone would have to have their second choice.
I know you're on the writing team, but what kind of time commitment was that on a day-to-day basis? Like the doc says 2 to 4 hours. Man, I can't remember. Is it 2 to 4 hours a day or 2 to 4 hours a week?
The doc says 2 to 4 hours per week. That is an average, and it really does depend on which focus group you're on. I do know that the writing team tends to take be a little bit more time intensive than the others, just because, they're writing. I definitely spent more than 2 to 4 hours per week between the assignments for my focus group and then other things like planning and organizing community quests and just being active on the social community and answering questions and that kind of stuff. Some parts of the year are busier than others. Usually, like right before the qualifying test is a pretty busy time because everyone has all of their last minute questions.
Did I use my Bible or?
No, you may not use your Bible for the qualifying test. Check the rule book.
You're talking about busy times, but what is the AST doing before the summer study even starts?
It does depend a little bit on which group you're on, because the writing team does start in fairly soon with their writing blog posts. Pretty much as soon as you're on the team, you can have your social community profile set up and just start creating that online presence, especially for new families as they register and they come on and they have a lot of questions. You can start straight in with that and with answering questions and with helping that.
Are y'all doing training at that point in time?
Training happens in February. This year it is going to be virtual. Training doesn't honestly take a very long time. I don't know how long it'll be this year. In the past when it was in person, it was just like a weekend. If you have any questions going forward, you're able to just email staff and ask them about it, or talk to other team members if there's some who've been on the team before, or if you're confused about something, you are able to figure it out.
What are y'all doing during the summer study?
The work for the focus groups obviously continues throughout the summer, and then the main other responsibility throughout the summer is just to be engaging with participants through the social community, whether that's through doing different kinds of posts or doing community quests and planning those. It's mostly just engaging with participants.
I noticed that y'all were really on it this year though, so great job. And the community quests are always so well run. It's so much fun.
They're a lot of fun to organize from this side of things too.
That's awesome. After the qualifying test, do y'all get busier, or would you say the work actually decreases?
For the writing team, we were still continuing to write blog posts, so our workload was pretty much the same for that. Throughout the national study season, obviously, the team continues just interacting with participants on the community like they did throughout the summer, and so that doesn't change a whole lot. And obviously, if they want to organize some more community quests or study calls or contestant calls or stuff like that, there's the opportunity to do that as well. And then the team also gets to plan and organize the alumni gathering for the National Bible Bee competition.
Could you just walk me through what is the AST's role in the competition?
There isn't a lot of specifics that I can say about that because that is competition related, and so that is more confidential. But our public role is as division guides, so each team member will be assigned to a certain division during the semifinal final rounds. You'll be working more closely with the division you're assigned to, and I can just say that that's a lot of fun.
Possibly a question's going to get you in trouble, but what is your favorite division?
At this point, actually, I was a primary division guide both years, so I have to say primary because I've just been with the primaries, but really they are a great division. The thing I love about the primaries is they're just there to have a good time, and that's just what they're there for. And so we had a lot of fun just talking to them and getting to know them. And then they're also just these incredibly smart kids, and they've spent so much time in the Word at such a young age, and you can start to see how that's shaping them already, even though they're so young. And so it's just really exciting to see that happening at that age and realize that, by the time they're seniors, they're going to have accumulated so much knowledge of the Word, and it's going to have really changed who they are as people.
Second to last question, what's your favorite memory from serving on the Alumni Service Team?
I did get to serve 2 years, so I'm going to cheat a little bit and I'm going to give you an answer for each year.
Yeah, go ahead and cheat. I'm all for
So,
it.
so that's
Don't
why
take
I'm
that out
doing
of context. You telling people to cheat.
Yes, please don't cheat during the competition. Please do not. But in 2022, when I was the first year I was on the Alumni Service Team, in the evenings after we were all off duty, which was usually pretty late at night, we would go and we would play games as a group. And so there was one evening, it was the last evening, and everybody was just kind of like, we had had a very long week. We were pretty tired by that point. We didn't have a whole lot of sleep, but it was the last night, and obviously the last night of Bible Bee, you have to stay up late. You're like legally obligated to. And certain members of the Alumni Service Team, and I'm not going to out them, but certain members procured ice cream from sources. And so we were able to have an ice cream party in one of the hotel rooms and just stay up till some of us were up till like 4 a.m. playing games and eating ice cream and just talking and laughing. Someone had the idea to each have a sheet of paper with our name on it, and then we all pass it in a circle and we'll write like one nice, genuine compliment to this person, and then on the opposite side, you write a roast. And that was a lot of fun. And we laughed hysterically.
I was like, oh, it's so sweet. Y'all are just writing compliments to each other. And you said the other side's a roast. And I was like, oh,
that is not officially endorsed by the National Bible Bee. For this year, I would have to say my favorite memory was having the opportunity to lead worship as a team. It was a really unexpected opportunity, and as a team, we were all super, super thankful that staff entrusted us with that. But it was just so, so beautiful to be standing there and to see this whole group of just hundreds and hundreds of people all worshiping the Lord.
I love the worship too, so I'm so glad that you were enjoying it, and hey, if I do say so myself, the perspective from like the stage is pretty cool. Last question, what do you think is the most important qualification for someone who wanted to try out for the Alumni Service Team?
This answer is going to be purely my personal thoughts based on what I've appreciated in the people I've gotten to work with over the past 2 years. So this is not like an official answer where Bible Bee says you must have this quality.
Yeah.
For like a month or so, I was really busy and it was hard to fulfill my responsibilities, and that was an added layer of challenge. Yeah. So I would say someone who is willing and available to serve is the biggest qualification. Also, it really helps if you have a lot of connections within the Bible Bee community, or you're able to build connections. And again, this is not an official answer, but just from the perspective of a team member, it's really nice when you can show up at the competition and you know a lot of faces, and you can greet those people by name and encourage them by name as they go throughout the competition, whether it's in orals or during the opening ceremony when everybody's getting their medals. Just being able to know people's names means a lot to the contestants, and so it's really good if you're able to do that and able to recognize a lot of those people.
I really love both those answers. Well, thank you for listening to me. Well, I sound like I'm dying. I'm not, for the record. But and thank you for doing this interview with me. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you at some future nationals. Well, thank you.
I'm sorry, I have a sibling. Please tell me you can cut that part out.
I mean, it's kind of fun. I might just like leave it in.